I have never believed in ghosts. All the stories told on rainy nights, the rumors in the small neighborhood, or the yellowed diary entries found in old drawers, to me, were just ghost stories made up to scare children. But that night, when the clock on the table struck midnight, my worldview collapsed in an instant. Asterisk, the key lay in the dust at my feet, and the attic door above me groaned with every whisper of wind. I had spent days running from the truth, burying mirrors beneath sheets and covering glass with cloth, but it was useless. The Watcher was already inside the walls, inside my voice, inside the hollow parts of myself that fear had carved open. Michael's letters had been my guide, but I knew no letter could make this choice for me. The Watcher's hunger had grown louder. Each night he spoke my name, his voice weaving into my dreams until I could no longer tell waking from sleeping. And Michael's last plea still burned in my ears. Don't let him be me. Don't let him be you. I lifted the key with trembling hands, the metal bit into my palm, colder than ice. If I went up those steps, I would face him directly, the shadow behind the glass that had claimed generations of my bloodline. If I stayed, if I refused, he would take me slowly, feeding piece by piece, until I no longer remembered my own name. There was no safety, no middle ground, only confrontation. I climbed the ladder, each creak of wood a heartbeat louder than the last. When I reached the hatch, the silence on the other side felt like a held breath. I pushed the key into the lock, twisted, and the door released with a scream of rusted hinges. The attic was waiting. The air was stale, heavy, as though it had not been disturbed for centuries. My lantern cast weak circles of light across the floor. The cracked mirror loomed at the far wall, taller than me, its surface quivering faintly like water. Dust swirled in patterns that looked almost deliberate, as if invisible hands were already moving. I stepped closer, my breath shallow, my heart a hammer in my chest. My reflection wavered, distorted, but not alone. Behind me, the Watcher stood, tall, crooked, his head bent at the same terrible angle I had seen in fragments. The more I stared, the more he resembled my eyes, my mouth, my shoulders stolen and reshaped into something wrong. David, the voice came, not from the air, but from the glass itself. I can be you. You don't have to be afraid anymore. I clenched my fists, whispering into the shadows. You cannot have me. The figure tilted its head, and the mirror rippled. The attic groaned, the boards beneath me buckling as if resisting something vast. My reflection moved on its own, smiling, when I did not. For a moment, I felt my arms rise without my command, the Watcher testing his grasp. Michael's voice broke through then, faint but urgent, echoing from the torn letters in my pocket. David, remember who you are. Hold to it. He cannot take what you refuse to give. I gritted my teeth, forcing my limbs back under my control. I raised the lantern higher, the flame trembling. The Watcher's face grew clearer, his hollow eyes now filled with stolen fragments of mine. He was waiting for my weakness, waiting for me to give him permission, even unknowingly. The mirror pulsed. My reflection stretched, arms reaching outward, as if ready to step through. The glass thinned, its surface warping until it looked like a doorway of water. The Watcher leaned forward, his smile too wide, his voice booming in my skull. Let me in, David. I will be you, I will walk, and you will rest. My knees threatened to buckle, but Michael's final words steadied me. I knew now what the curse demanded, and what it would take to end it. Not surrender, not silence, resistance, I lifted the lantern high, its flame burning brighter as air rushed in. I shouted into the mirror, voice raw. You cannot have me. You cannot have Michael. You will never be us. The attic roared as though the house itself rebelled. The mirror cracked, a jagged line splitting the surface. The watcher's scream was not a sound but a vibration in my bones, shaking me to my core. His reflection clawed at the glass, but the cracks spread, webbing outward like lightning. The lantern shattered in my hand, fire licking across the floor. Flames caught the dust and wood, rising fast, filling the attic with smoke. I stumbled back, coughing, as the mirror splintered again and again. Through the cracks, I saw the watcher's face distort. No longer mine, no longer anyone's, but something ancient and starved. The final shatter came with a sound like thunder. The mirror exploded into shards, scattering across the attic floor. For an instant, every piece reflected a different face: my father, my grandfather, Michael, and finally me before they went dark. The watcher's voice faded into silence. For the first time in weeks, the house was still. I fell to my knees, choking on smoke. The letters of Michael clutched to my chest. Flames consumed the attic, then the walls, then everything. But I did not move. For the first time, I felt free. As the fire spread, I heard Michael's voice one last time, gentle now, unburdened. Thank you, David. The floor gave way beneath me, and the world went dark. Stay tuned for the next story, because even though this curse has ended, there are always other shadows waiting, always other mirrors that should never be touched.